On March 6, 1981, Marianne Bachmeier burst through the courtroom doors and fired several shots at a man on trial. That man was 35-year-old Klaus Grabowski, a local butcher and pedophile, on his third day of trial for the murder of Marianne's daughter. As Klaus's lifeless body was hauled out, journalists captured the only evidence of the crime left behind, his pool of blood. Shortly after the shooting, Marianne stated, quote, "I wanted to shoot him in the face, but I only got him in the back. I hope he's dead." The press in Germany instantly dubbed Marianne Revenge Mother. To say that Marianne Bachmeier had a difficult upbringing would be an understatement. Her father was a Nazi soldier whom, before she was even born, fled to Sarstedt with her mother to seek refuge. A short time after Marianne's birth, her parents divorced, and her mother immediately remarried. By the age of 18, Marianne had given birth to 2 daughters. Both were given up for adoption as infants. While pregnant with her second child, Marianne was reportedly raped. In 1973, the 23-year-old was pregnant again, and she gave birth to her third child. She named her daughter Anna and took on the difficult task of raising her alone as a single mother. After Anna's birth, Marianne either underwent surgery or had complications during the birth that would prevent future pregnancies. To keep her and Anna afloat, Marianne ran a pub in what was then West Germany. The same year that Anna was born, Klaus Grabowski was facing a year of probation for attempting to strangle a 6-year-old girl. He also sexually abused her and another child, and I'm not sure how old the other child was. In 1976, Klaus underwent chemical castration, which is the process of lowering the hormone production in one's testicles through the use of drugs. Therefore, the production of testosterone is very low, similar to a surgical castration. However, the effects only last a few weeks and would require repeated doses. One of the symptoms of this procedure is reduced or absent sexual desire, but chemical castration isn't a cure or prevention for the violent molestation of children. In 1978, Klaus started hormone treatments to reverse the symptoms and effects. Because the justice system failed to give Klaus a deserved sentence, he was able to carry out an attack on at least one more child, Anna Backmeyer. On the morning of May 5, 1980, 7-year-old Anna skipped school to visit a friend that apparently wasn't in school that day either. Several news outlets have reported that Anna and her mother had gotten into a dispute, and this is what caused her to leave or skip school entirely. As Anna was walking to a friend's house, she crossed paths with Klaus Grabowski. Klaus abducted Anna by telling her he had cats at his home and that she could play with them. Anna was kept by Klaus for hours, and the torture ended by him strangling her to death with his fiancée's pantyhose. Anna's body was shoved into a box and buried on the bank of a canal in a shallow grave. Fortunately, Klaus's fiancée somehow found out about Anna's murder and alerted authorities immediately. He was arrested that afternoon and confessed to the murder, but then started to justify his actions to investigators. This truly evil, twisted man claimed that 7-year-old Anna tried to seduce him and blackmail him for money. He said that Anna threatened to tell her mother that he tried to molest her if he didn't pay up. Of course, this story was not believed by anyone, because not only was Klaus a convicted sex offender, but Anna was an innocent child, and blackmail doesn't justify murder. Grabowski's trial came a year later, while Marianne was still grappling with the loss of Anna and the disturbing claims of her killer. On the third day of the trial, Marianne had heard enough of the defense and Klaus's disrespectful lies about her own daughter. In the crowded courtroom, Marianne walked up to the back of Klaus, pulled out a .22 caliber pistol, and shot him 7 times. He died from his injuries on the courtroom floor. Media covered the event extensively and questioned if the justice system properly dealt with sex offenders in the first place. Many people across the world were praising Marianne for delivering Klaus's justice herself. Her prosecution began as a murder trial in November of 1982. During her trial, it was revealed that the murder weapon was purchased a week before Klaus's trial, proving intent. Marianne's defense argued that she had purchased the gun initially with the intention to take her own life. When she was evaluated by a psychologist, she had to provide a handwriting sample. For this, she wrote, "I did it for you, Anna," and decorated it with 7 hearts. In interviews years later, Marianne said that she killed Klaus to stop him from making more false statements about her daughter. At some point during the 15-month-long trial, she sold her story to a magazine for what would be today roughly a little over $400,000 US. On March 2, 1982, Marianne was sentenced to 6 years for voluntary manslaughter. She was released after serving just 2 years. 3 years later, she married a teacher and moved away with him to Nigeria in 1988. The couple divorced 5 years later, and Marianne made Sicily her new home for a short time, until her diagnosis of pancreatic cancer. Marianne lived out the remainder of her years in Germany, with a broadcasting station capturing her final stages of life. On September 17, 1996, she died at the age of 46 and was buried right next to Anna.